Good morning, evening, afternoon. I'm tatocat. Welcome to my channel. Today we're playing Echoes of Lucid9 Fangame. Previously, we got some more weapons from that fancy armory after finding out we could just do whatever we want with them. Um, and we are going down to the secret super district of District Zero, and they're talking to Irie, and we had a choice, and well, we're seeing if that choice leads to Irie being happy or more pissed off at us. The Warden abhors the idea of trust. After all, history has taught us that those who offer one hand without arming the other either die as fools or live as a consequence of luck, as dumb as they are. However, your neural implants manage made bleh, 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 manage your memories and emotions to a point of granting immense restraint and common sense, as they appear to be functioning properly. Neither of us believe direct intervention would be wise. Your corporation knows that your past actions rendered you quite undeserving of the privilege to exercise any free will. Were there no implants to curtail that free will, well, I'm sure you already know how we deal with you. Oh, but needless to say, with your strength of character and mind, such a grim course of action would be quite the waste. I remember how you were the first to rush to any defense 3 years ago. Rushed to my defense 3 years ago, while we were still students at the IIBA, and the first with moral conviction sufficient to look past the soulless doll act I put on for reasons of my own. You gave the same proactive consideration of welfare to me as you gave that pale-haired girl. A part of me wished that I could do the same for you, but we both know that what is necessary is not always just. Nevertheless, operative, I do owe you my thanks. Your selfless actions made you remarkably easy to keep track of. Well, that settles it. Looks like this really is the same Irie Hirga I met back at the academy. In retrospect, her name and red hair should have been a dead giveaway, along with the fact that I nearly bumped into her almost every time I turned around. Not to mention the commander's personal testimony that she's been telling me for multiple years. So, wait, so, what? Did I not get a thing? Alright, well, let's see if she likes me more if I choose the green option. Because that gave me nothing. Just wanted to double check. Transparency is one thing, but self-endangerment for its sake is another. DCIS does important work. I sleep better at night, not knowing how that work gets done. But if it has any chance of helping Way Forward save lives, I feel it's my duty to be concerned for you and your organization. I'm not questioning your judgment, Agent. I just like to make sure that what you're telling me is safe. Okay, so choosing the green option was the correct one this time. Fine. Your concern is appreciated, Operative, but hardly necessary. Rest assured, I wouldn't be telling you any of this without the Warden's permission. Okay, is this going to be the same stuff? Okay. Cool. No, that isn't right. This one, the only thing I reliably remember from that time is being held captive. That and looking. Wait. What was I thinking about? Whatever. Must have just been a brain fart. Right. Right now, Agent here is looking at me like I'm not all here, so it might be a good idea to do something about that. Sorry, Agent, I got distracted by something. And I criticize Hisao for his lack of finesse. Yes, Hisao does have quite the lack of finesse. The error is mine, Operative. WayForward's influence runs deep through your mind. It's only natural that they'd choose to restrict access to some of your memories. No matter. At this point, whoa, what was that? At this point, we both have access to the information we require. Perhaps it is best if we avoid discussing the past altogether. The elevator touches down with a faint hum. I nod in affirmation to the agent and proceed to follow her through its doors. This way, please. Does it have to be all red? And if there's so many computers, which makes sense. But does it have to be all red? I imagine that must suck on the eyes. Like, it must be awful. As I'm led through a room containing a multitude of expensive-looking military-grade electronics, my presence in the facility is shocking enough to turn the heads of numerous DCIS employees. Judging from their sturdy metallic headsets and chest-mounted ID badges that read Office of Communications, this must be some sort of monitoring center. Though it's evident that I'm already failing, I make an attempt to minimize the attention I draw to myself. Well, we are in a giant suit of armor just kind of walking around, I assume. While moving through the compound, a large holographic sign in the shape of the DCIS emblem catches my eye. Directly under it are 3 words written in bold print. Intersperse, interdict, intercede. Sounds about right. Now is a logical time for us to part ways. Oh, sorry, Irene. Now is a logical time for us to part ways, Operative. I feel like I'm always messing up on Irene. At the end of this hallway, you'll find a secure chamber which will serve as your link. to the Warden. I will remain here until your discourse with her is complete. I wonder who the Warden is. I'm kind of excited. Who will it be? Is it Inamoto? I would love that. You're not coming? Her request was clear, Operative. This summons is for you alone. Knowing her vindictive disposition, it would be unwise for me to stand in her way. When everything is necessary, Agent. Should I be prepared for anything out of the ordinary when I go in there? Agent Hirika chuckles. Most likely, Operative. She'll attempt to blindside you. In the few conversations we've had, every word she spoke to me was a clear attempt to either intimidate or anger. It's a form of limited psychological control, but it only works on those easily swayed by the sentiments of strangers. Oh, is it, okay, so it's not Inamoto, since she didn't talk to her that much. Is it either, what's her name? Akari? Or, the one chick who was older than she looked and went, undercover at the school, whose name I forget. Oh yeah, if you hear, I have another cough drop in my mouth. If you maintain your composure, you will be fine. In theory. Well, thanks for that pep talk, Irie. Super helpful. Alright. Thank you, Agent. Don't thank me yet, Operative. How you'll fare against her remains to be seen. I nod to the agent before setting off on my own. During the few backward glances I take while on my way, I catch her staring intently at me, as still as a mountain and as focused as a hawk, looking through a pair of binoculars. However, the hell that would work. You know, the wings are hands, I guess. Getting stared at isn't the problem, though. I'm already God knows how many furlongs under District 5 in the headquarters of the fucking secret police. And as if that wasn't enough, hell for one handbasket. Ginger Mussolini's. Ginger Mussolini, oh my. Nigh omnipotent, all-seeing psychopath of a boss somehow makes mine look sane by comparison. That's hard to imagine. I feel like they're probably equally insane. But if the collective knowledge and power DCIS holds can be used to fight against this outbreak, I'm required by oath to go in there and make a deal with this Warden, no matter who she or how she operates. Who she is or how she operates. Survival be damned. If my debt to that shell of a man wasn't here to keep my blood boiling, I'd be willing to stake my life on this mission. The door closing off the end of the hallway opens as I approach, exposing a narrow walkway that spans a chasm filled with glowing red fog. Really into the red, huh? Are these people trying to look evil? Seems like it. Oh my. It does look quite evil. Now I'm just imagining her sitting in a chair, petting a fluffy cat, and when we come in, she turns around and she's like, "Hello, operative," and just petting the cat, probably wearing like black leather gloves or something. The final room I entered is as dim as it is silent, pervaded by a foreboding red glow, barely intense enough to illuminate the floor. A round glass platform sits upon that floor, marked with 2 glowing footprints in some sort of comical spotlight. This must be the secure chamber Hirga mentioned. Well, when in Rome. Excellent. As I step into the platform. Why? They really are just evil. They're an evil little basement corporation, aren't they? As I step onto the platform, the light around me vanishes, replaced by a sound of a drum and voice distorted beyond recognition. Before I can move away, a swirling red barrier materializes around the platform, gradually expanding outward to reveal, well, whatever the hell this place is. It looks like the dojo. But, evil. The evil dojo. Yeah, this is just the evil dojo. Soon evil Hisao will pop out. The new variable has arrived. A shadowy figure appears in front of me. The silhouetted image of a hardcover book levitating a centimeter above their fingertips. Tell me, which one are you? Controlled, manipulated, responding? Yeah. A mixture of all 3, perhaps? No matter. For a specimen as intricate as you, superficial classification serves no purpose. Specimen? Okay, Rui, were you not listening to Irie? She said you would be the only one who go in, and she sees you as a specimen. That was the word Hirga used, wasn't it? Let's see. The figure opens the shadowy book, examining its contents. Sorry about that. Operative Lucid9, Special Services Division. Date of birth, June 7, 2021, 19 years of age. Height, 1.7 meters. Body mass, 7.75 kilograms. 79% transgenic. 21% cybernetic. Physical attributes conform to all known records. With a flick of the figure's wrist, the book disappears into thin air. Welcome. I apologize in advance if I failed to treat you with an abundance of hospitality. I am not interested in allowing visitors to breach this facility. nor am I interested in dealing with them personally. However, something tells me you are far from the ordinary visitor. And again, a certain corporation did have their... The voice laughs. Way forward with you. You're looking quite spry for a dead woman, Rui Hayata. Well, I suppose being a giant robot would make one look spry. I'm pretty sure it's the cybernetics, but thank you. I apologize for the inconveniencing you this afternoon, but one of your department's agents requested that I speak with you in an individual. We speak with an individual known as the Warden. Intriguing, Miss Hayata. And were you told I'd find this warden, that you'd find this warden here? Affirmative. With what I've heard thus far, I would assume that I'm speaking to them now. Then you would assume correctly. So, I take it that I won't need to introduce myself? Introduce yourself. To me. The umbral figure lets out a discordant, conceding giggle. Since you obviously don't have the intelligence capacity to figure it out yourself, I'd like to make something clear to you. The Department of Corporate Intelligence and Security is watching. We're always watching. Every second of every minute of every hour, and every hour of every day. Our eyes are all around you. And there are countless more pointed at anyone else in the city, still intact enough to be recognized by the DNA of a wayward skin cell. If a fugitive is at large for even a second inside Isamu's borders, the drones and camera emplacements belonging to the Office of Department of Affairs will notify me, and I will order a strike team to hunt them down like the sick, frightened animals they are. For a time, they may flee abroad, but the Office of Foreign Affairs will ensure that any nation foolish enough to grant asylum to them is brought to its knees and pummeled into submission. While this occurs, the Office of Communications will also be looking through the browsing history of every Limnyscape device on the planet. Make no mistake, Miss Hayata. I know the people under my supervision. I know their names, their faces, their fingerprints, their voices, and even the patterns of blood vessels in their retinas. I know their genetic code down to the last base pair. I know your genetic code down to the last base pair. Granted, your corporation may have developed the technology to analyze and record the individual genomes of this city, but I oversee the census. I compile the records, and I hold the data. So infect yourself with as many retroviruses as you'd like. I'll see them all. I feel like this is working as an insane person, right? Right? Don't believe me yet? There are 40 million people in this city, each of whom depend on limniscape technology to survive. 93% of those people own multiple limniscape devices. 99% own at least one, and as of several days ago, security cameras in Isamu outnumber citizens 11 to 1. Security cameras both built and networked by us. But we'd be foolish to neglect the fact that nearly everyone is glued to a screen these days. Through cameras and microphones built into our electronic devices, both of which are felonies to obstruct or disable, we observe these citizens as they eat, as they sleep, as they attend work and school, and even as they try to invade to satisfy their exhausted spouses, provided their validity of consent and relationship. Declaration forms have been filed and renewed by the MSO, but that shouldn't be a problem for any mentally competent adult above the age of 25. And whenever a genetically defective couple in their mid-30s refuses to submit a sample of their newborn child's blood to me, my order is the one that sends all three of them to a re-educational facility to learn some respect for my authority. Respect my authority! That's what I'm hearing there. Of the 40 people, millions of people currently inhabiting the city, none, a single one, has ever managed to elude me without punishment. Not even you. So, no, Miss Hayata, you don't need to introduce yourself to me. You could have just said that. Okay? You could have just been like, we have cameras everywhere. We see everything. So no. No, you had to go on. It's like every evil genius. In fact, you turned yourself. In fact, you've turned your service, have conceived, barely maintained excuse of a life into such a farce that I doubt there's a single DCIS agent unaware of how pathetic you really are. Oh, did I miss a thing? Did it do a thing? Oh, I thought it did one of those red flashy things. That last sentence hits me like an avalanche coming down a mountain. Words breaking coldly over my skin like a half-empty glass depressurizing in a freezer. For a second, I notice it again. But a second is all I have. In the blink of an eye, an avalanche of gruesome memories returns to wreak havoc on my mind. All vague yet visceral accounts of failure taking place after failure and an endless downward spiral. Endless, at least until all culminated in a final gory circus of agony and carnage. One where flesh was pitted against steel, and steel was pitted against flesh, and steel triumphed every time. And one that I helped bring about. I take a deep breath to quell that rage building within me. I made some mistakes in my life. DCIS has every right to criticize me for them. In your life? Ms. Hayata, your life is a mistake. In perfect world, you would have never even existed, and in a reasonable one, your existence would have been revoked 3 years ago alongside that brain-damaged sack of depression you thought you could drag through life for a decade. But when Satomi Kazahaya, daughter, left you in 2034 to help her mother raise to fiscal prominence, you were so negligent regarding your so-called best friend's needs that you required outside assistance to prevent his suicide. Fast forward 4 years, you're traveling with Yama Ishimoto and witness a car accident. This reminds him of his sister, and you attempt to manipulate him and his emotionally compromised state by telling him that you, what was it, were trying to replace her. A blatant falsehood. At the point in your relationship, you were trying to replace his entire family, as well as parents who were arguably more incompetent than you. Well, we'll listen to the rest of the Warden's speech and the next episode.